Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jim Frankel from MusicFirst. Thank you for joining our second training webinar in the series this week. We will be doing a whole new series next week that we will announce on our social media channels on Friday. So make sure that if you haven't already, like the MusicFirst Facebook page. MusicFirst is separate words on Facebook, you'll find us, or request to join the MusicFirst Teachers Facebook group. It's a private group that we reserve only for people using our platform. We'll post the schedule of those webinars on those two places on Facebook. We will not be sending around a separate email on that one, but we'll do a training webinar once a day, every day next week as well. For the sake of everyone's internet connection, we will not be using video at all. So please don't turn on your video. All right, so we're jumping in, MusicFirst classroom training. I'm sure that some of you may have been on the training yesterday, but I can't assume that. So I'm gonna go over a few things that we did yesterday and then talk about what we're, what the focus of today's training is. Today's training is all about how to create tasks, which we started with yesterday, but we're gonna look at all the different software titles that are available and how you can create tasks in each one of them. They're all a little bit different, so I'm going to show that. And then if we have time at the end, I will show you how to utilize all the stuff in our resources tab and how you can use them with your students. If you have any questions, type them in our chat box. Our support team is standing by to try to answer them while I go through the training. So MusicFirst, as you might already be aware, is an online learning management system built exclusively for K-12 music education, although you can certainly use it at the university level as well. It combines learning management software, kind of like Google Classroom, if you will, but adds to it software that is integrated directly. So it's single sign-on software. We've got 9 software titles for you to choose from, and amazing content. So there's, I think like every music teacher in America right now, they're freaking out about, how am I going to create materials for the kids online? I've never done this before. Well, never fear. The MusicFirst content library has thousands of pieces of pre-made content. So I'll make sure I at least show them today, but we'll be focusing on content more in tomorrow's webinar. Just quickly, from a compatibility standpoint, I'll just play this slide so it looks a little cleaner. We work on every single platform, so as long as your students can get to the internet, and that's not always a given, but as long as they have some way of getting to the internet, they can use this platform. It works on a Mac, a PC, a Chromebook, tablets, Android devices, and if you happen to be using, or if your students have iPhones or iPads, before that, if you are using all of these, excuse me, sorry, I'm sure you'll forgive me. If you're using any of these, devices, you just need to use the Chrome browser. The number one support question we get is, my kids can't do this, it's not working. And the answer is almost always that the kids were using something like Safari instead of Chrome. If your students use Chrome and you push them right from the very beginning, only use Chrome, they should be fine. If they have an iOS device like an iPhone or an iPad, they must download the student app, which is totally free. And when you supply your students with their login information, they will have to enter that into the app when they first open it to be able to use it. The different software titles that we're going to look at today, and again, it's an hour-long webinar, so I'll try to do a few minutes on each, is all of the stuff that's available from MusicFirst. Focus on Sound is an encyclopedia. OGenerator is a beat-making app. PracticeFirst is automated performance assessment. Sight Reading Factory is the best sight reading tool that's out there. Aurelia for ear training. Musician for music theory. NoteFlight is a notation program. Soundtrap and Soundation are both DAWs, digital audio workstations like GarageBand. Soundtrap is a little more popular because it works on every single device, including iPhones and iPads. Soundation does not. So I'm going to just quickly review these again one more time. If you could please not use your video, that'd be great. We have 4 different types of ways that students can interact with our platform. The first one is they can do tasks that you assign them. And from a teacher standpoint, we have a generic task, which is you just say, hey kids, go to the audio recorder or go to this piece of software and do this. and then the kids go and they do all of the work for you. You just have to trust that they understand the instructions. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The next option is a specific task, which is what we recommend. And that is where you're pointing to a specific test, a specific piece of content on the software that you want them to do or to complete. That's, in my opinion, the best way to use our platform. Template tasks mean that you're creating something as part of the task. So we've gone over this a few times in previous yesterday's training. But if you are a choir director or a band director or an orchestra director and you have an accompaniment track, you can upload that accompaniment track to either an audio recording task or something like in Soundtrap and have the students record themselves. That's a template task where you're putting, you're having to create some or half the assignment for the kids. And then last but not least is free play. The kids have access to this software 24/7 as long as they can get into Chrome and get online, so they can play with it whenever they want. And in the kind of days ahead, and who knows what they will bring, these kids are going to be needing things to do, and hopefully music software will help them get through it. So we're going to dive into the